So you guys didn't think that I would pass up on an opportunity to talk about the Jameela Jamil and Kim Kardashian controversy, did you? I'm just scrolling through Twitter to find the exact quote for you, and I thought we could have a little woman-to-woman chit-chat about it because I like Jameela Jamil a lot. I think she's very funny in The Good Place, and I think that her whole kind of I Weigh campaign is fantastic. I also think that the was it like the Makers conference I think that she did, where she talked about sexual consent, was really on point, and I just generally think that she's a good egg and she has good intentions. However, I have issue with some of the stuff that has happened of late. With the whole Kim Kardashian KKW body makeup thing, and I'll explain why in a moment. I'm just trying to find the exact tweet for you, so let me just find it. Right, okay, so Kim Kardashian is one of those people that people really love to hate, and I get why Kim Kardashian is problematic for people, I really do, but for me personally, she doesn't bother me. I watch the Kardashians, I'm not even gonna hide that. I've watched it pretty much since it started, and I don't know, I think there's something about their family that kind of reminds me a bit of my family. There's a lot of us, we're all predominantly girls, and I can really understand why the Kardashians are problematic for people. I really do get it. But it doesn't particularly bother me personally. But anyway, KKW, which is Kim Kardashian's beauty brand, had launched some body products that were basically kind of body shimmer, body makeup. Think Sally Hansen airbrush legs, think MAC face and body, that kind of vibe. So they'd launched them, and the campaign was kind of like it being kind of brushed on with like a buffing brush onto women's bodies, and it was kind of announcing the launch. Jameela Jamil retweeted it on Twitter and put, "Hard pass, goddamn the work to take it all off before bed so it doesn't destroy your sheets. I'd rather just make peace with my million stretch marks and eczema. Taking off my mascara is enough a pain in the arse. Save money and time and give yourself a damn break." And then she said, "I have such severe eczema all over my legs and covered in patches of pigment loss from scratching. I have a ton of stretch marks, and because I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, every time I cut, I scar. I refuse to have these human marks weaponized against me." Shout out to all the other babes in this thread talking about embracing their scars and marks and skin conditions and wearing them proudly. I know it's hard and it took me a bit of time to do it myself, but gosh, it's so effing liberating when you do. If you are someone who scars easily, falls over a lot, dislocates easily, has fatigue, nosebleeds, huge range of flexibility, ask your doctor about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, blah blah blah. And she talks about we're growing up in a society that continuously finds new ways to make us hate ourselves, so that we buy things to fix what was never broken. It's hard, but we push on together. Well done, us. My issue with this is I feel like it's kind of a bit like, why has this only become prominent because Kim Kardashian's spoken about it, when these are not new products on the market? Like I said, Sally Hansen airbrush legs has been around for years, as has MAC face and body. And I am somebody who I will very often put makeup on my legs if I'm wearing something short. So like today, for example, I'm wearing a dress and I did have my legs out and I didn't put anything on them because I fit 10 last night, but I then did catch sight of them and I did think they would just look a little bit better with a little bit of something on to just even everything out. That is personal preference, and the thing about it going on your sheets wouldn't bother me personally because I always shower before bed anyway, so I would shower it off and it wouldn't make any difference to me. If you're somebody who doesn't do that, then it will ruin your sheets and it's annoying, and I get that. And I get the problem of kind of, why do we have to cover ourselves in shimmery tanness to make our bodies look all gleaming? But the thing is, you don't have to. I think in the video that I saw, I didn't watch all of it to be fair, but it was a video of Kim Kardashian and I think it was Mario showing how to apply the body makeup and everything, and she was talking about how she has psoriasis and so she likes to kind of even everything out and make the tone of her skin look more even. And I really do fail to see how that's a problem, because I don't think that that's telling everybody that if you have any kind of like psoriasis or marks or stretch marks or anything like that, like you have to cover them up. It's just a choice if you want to. And I also think it's very problematic to try and claim that it's any different to wearing makeup on your face, which obviously I don't have a problem with. I love makeup. I absolutely adore it. I think that it's fun. I think it's creative. I love the kind of sciencey bit behind it. I think that it's kind of almost like playing dress up every day. I love its ability to just instantly make you look kind of more polished and perky. And I think there's nothing wrong with not wearing makeup. If I'm just at home, I don't wear makeup. Sometimes if I'm just at home, I do, because I just want to have a play. I wouldn't go out without makeup, but that's not because I think I look absolutely hideous without makeup. It's just because I feel like I'm like my best self and kind of the most put together, and I love it. I love getting ready in the morning. It genuinely is never ever a chore for me. It's an enjoyment. It's a nice part of my day when I get ready in the morning. It's not an unfun thing for me. It's not like oh god, I've got to do this now. And so I think, especially for somebody like Jameela Jamil, who does wear makeup on the red carpet, who does, wear makeup in TV and all of that kind of thing, I think it's a bit problematic to say that this is any different to wearing makeup on your face. And I think it's also a bit problematic to try and make out like all women who choose to do that, it's because they're insecure. It might just be just because they think it just looks a bit nicer and they just want to feel a bit more confident and comfortable in what they're wearing, because it makes them feel nicer. Not because there's anything wrong with not, but just because it makes you just feel a little bit more glamorous and you just enjoy it. It doesn't always necessarily come from a place of insecurity, and I think that's where a lot of the kind of feminism that Jameela Jamil preaches is coming from that assumption, and I don't think that that's always the case. Now, one could argue that it is the case and we're just not aware of it because we've been that brainwashed by a kind of patriarchal society, but I don't think that that is the case. I think assuming that is actually questioning women's intelligence, because I think that if you just enjoy beauty as a hobby and you enjoy makeup, it isn't coming from that place. It's coming from a place of genuine passion for it. And just like how we don't kind of scrutinise men for having hobbies like that are traditionally male, like cars and football and anything like that, it's kind of like a natural interest for a lot of men. It's just like beauty and grooming is a natural interest for a lot of women. And I also think that somebody like Jameela Jamil, who is incredibly beautiful, I feel sorry for her in a sense, in that I think sometimes her message gets lost because it's coming from her, because she is so beautiful. Whereas somebody who is a little bit more kind of relatable in terms of looks, and that's not to say that is any less attractive, but just a little bit more not as traditionally what's perceived in the media as attractive. So say somebody like Lena Dunham, I think that message comes across from somebody like that with a little bit more of a stronger point. And I do think that's unfortunate for Jameela Jamil, because like I said, her whole I Weigh campaign was absolutely fantastic. And I totally agree with her calling the Kardashians out for the weight loss lollipops, for the weight loss tea and all of that kind of thing. But I also do think that teens nowadays are a little bit more savvy than we used to be. And when I was a teenager, magazines and that kind of thing, but you knew they were airbrushed to a point, but it wasn't an open conversation. Now, young girls know that it's an open conversation. They know that the pictures they're seeing are filtered because they filter their own pictures. So they know that that's what it is. And I think that maybe this kind of particular predicament was sort of a little bit of a step too far. And I saw on Twitter that Caroline Hirons and Sally Hughes and a bunch of people like that were kind of complaining a little bit about Jameela Jamil's kind of tweet and things like that, and saying that she was kind of being a little bit aggressive with that form of feminism, and that it wasn't inclusive because it was just trying to make out like all women who used body makeup were insecure. And again, I think if you are a bit insecure because of your scars, okay, one could argue that maybe it is because society's made you feel that way. But I think sometimes feeling self-conscious is just something that happens. It's just something that's kind of in you, and it isn't necessarily a direct connection to the society that's around you. It's just how you feel. And if putting a little bit of MAC face and body on your legs, which takes 3 seconds, and I don't agree with her saying that it's a proper faff. The way they did it in the video, they made it look like a faff with a brush and all of that, but it's not a faff really. You literally can just take MAC face and body, smear it all over your legs, and you're good. It doesn't come off, doesn't stick on, like, you know, your sofa or whatever all people were saying in the comments. It's not a big deal. It's really, really not. So I think that's kind of a bit of an interesting analogy for that in general. But my personal opinion is you are allowed to enjoy makeup, and you're allowed to put body makeup on your legs if you want to, and you're allowed to put makeup on your face if you want to. And it doesn't mean that you're insecure, and it doesn't mean that you're a bad feminist. It means that you believe in women choosing to do what they want to do to make themselves feel good regardless. I don't think that Jameela Jamil's intent was anything malicious. I think the intent she has is always great, but I think sometimes it gets a little bit lost in translation for some reason. I think sometimes the point isn't delivered in the most effective manner. So yeah, let me know what you think about this topic. What your thoughts are. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you find it problematic? I was talking to my sister about it, and she said, oh, I've always got bruises and I don't care and I never put anything on them. And I was like, yeah, I sometimes don't and I sometimes do. And I get bruises. I'm always banging my legs and things. And I quite like it. I just quite like the kind of evenness and tonality, and just, I don't know, it just makes me feel a bit kind of like nicer. But it doesn't make me feel horrendous when I don't either. It's not even that complicated issue. I'd love to know your thoughts. Please be respectful in the comments down below though, because if you start calling each other names and things, like sometimes can happen on these videos, I will just delete it because it's not nice. So please view your opinions respectfully.